Hey YouTube, this is Mandak coming at you with another video, another haul video. Yet again, I probably should start doing something different. I swear next week I'm definitely gonna try to do something different. This was really off the cuff. I wasn't planning on doing a video today, but I went to another comic book store because I have no self control. So I bought some stuff. And it's a different store that I've been to, compared to other ones that I've gone in the past. Let me adjust this lighting real quick. Probably should have done this stuff before the video, but anyway, it's still light out, so that's helpful as well. But yeah. So this haul video is going to be for the Tales of Adventure comic book store in Coopersburg, Pennsylvania. And I tagged them on this video, so hopefully, if people start searching for them, they might look them up. Before I get started, I just want to talk about the store. It's perfect. There actually was a member of the Students of Shield up at Penn State who actually worked at this store, who told me and a few other people about it last year before I graduated Penn State. And they were telling me about the store that they worked at and how, it's really big. They have a bunch of stuff. And, she told me that they have all these $5 bins with like a bunch of graphic novels and stuff like that. And, trades and hardcovers and stuff like that. And it kind of piqued my interest. So last year, a bunch of us went to a movie. I think it was Spider-Man Homecoming. And after the movie, a friend of mine stayed over at my place, and then we got up the next day and went to my local Books a Million to pick up some stuff, and then we also went to the store, and I think I met with a few other people there too, and it was great. I think the first trip I went there, I think I spent around $60-70 because I found a lot of stuff that I needed for my collection. I had on my list, so that was great. But there's also some other stuff that I found that I wasn't really looking for, but heard it was really good, so I picked it up. So yeah, so this is a great store. I would definitely highly recommend them. They have $5 bins for a bunch of graphic novels, like a shit ton of them. There's like, I would say maybe 40, 50 short boxes full of graphic novels, so you can find a lot of stuff there. And then they have a huge selection of single issues, and you can spend hours going through that if you want. I kind of skimmed through them all really fast to find stuff that I needed, but and they also have wall books, like stuff you can buy a little bit more expensive, that key issues, stuff you're looking for. They have a bunch of like kind of mid-range books that are like kind of expensive but not too expensive, that need to keep them behind the counter. They have a lot of card stuff. When I was in there, I was actually probably the only person in the whole store that was actually shopping for comic books. There was a bunch of card games going on, and that's really cool. So if you're into that stuff, they have a bunch of comic book supplies. Boxes, short boxes, long boxes, frames, bags, and boards. They have a bunch of statues, posters, pretty much anything you can think of with regards to superhero stuff. They have snacks if you're hungry, I guess. But it's a great store. Every time I go there, I spend easily about an hour or so just going through there, and I also spend a lot of money as well. Today wasn't, too much of a spending spree. I only spent around $40 for all this stuff, which is pretty good because I'll show what I got. But yeah, I would say I recommend them highly. The name of it is Tales of Adventure, and it's in Coopersburg, PA. So kind of eastern side of Pennsylvania, in the Lehigh Valley, that kind of area. So yeah, check them out. They have a Facebook page, all that stuff, so feel free to look through there too. But I'll get started. So I bought some trades, and you'll see a theme of them as I go through here. But got some trades. I actually went through all the graphic novels. There were some stuff that I was thinking about getting, but I just didn't. But today I actually found a lot of stuff that I was looking for to continue on with stuff that I have on this collection over here. And then I also found some single issues that I needed for my collection. So as always, I will get started with the single issues first, alphabetically, of course, starting with A. And the first issue I have here is Avengers numbers 385. Or, I can't. 345, I'm sorry. And this is part of the Operation Galactic Storm storyline. And I think this is actually probably the third and final issue that I needed for the Avengers issues that tied into Galactic Storm. So that's really cool. For anyone who isn't familiar, Operation Galactic Storm is a pretty cool storyline. It bleeds over into Avengers with Kurt Busiek and George Perez. Some of the events that happen in this book, in this event, kind of trickle over there. But it's just a great story. Just a lot of throwdowns, a lot of fights, but a pretty cool, whole setup for the story. So you can see here on the cover, a bunch of Avengers, Quasar, Thunderstrike, going against the Shi'ar Empire. Vision in the background. I can't remember what her name is. I think it starts with an S. Someone could tell me in the comments. But yeah, so that's cool. So I have issues 345 to 347, which I think are the three Avengers issues that tie in with that. I think it was Quasar, Wonder Man, Iron Man, Avengers. I think West Coast Avengers also tied into it. It was like those 4 books or those 5 books that all kind of jumped. You had to buy each story because this is like part 5 of the story, so you had to buy like all 5 books to get the whole story. So pretty cool. Avengers, typical Avengers going to space story. So cool to have. Next issue, and I gotta get this bagged and boarded, is Iron Man number 186. And I was looking through my collection and I realized I didn't have this, so I picked it up. This is part of Denny O'Neill's run. Kind of like a fill-in issue, kind of not fill-in, but nothing really eventful really happens in this issue. It's just Vibro, going against Rhodey in the suit. I think at this point, Tony has snapped out of his alcoholism for the second time, and he joins Circuits Maximus to head out west. And he's kind of chilling with Cly and Irwin. I'm sorry, Cly and Morley, Irwin. 2 Stark employees with Rhodey, and all the 4 of them are running Circuits Maximus. So this is a cool, just a cool issue to have. I realized I didn't have it, so decided to just pick it up. You can see on the back, cool ad for Star Wars, the arcade game. Probably wasn't that good, but yeah. So cool issue to have. I'm really getting close now to filling in a lot of gaps in terms of Iron Man issues that I need, which is nice. I've actually found 2 issues of Iron Man, or 3 issues of Iron Man this during this trip that I can use. So next issue is Iron Man 297, which is kind of in that other area that I have gaps for. Is towards the tail end of the Volume 1 issues. So this is pretty cool. This is Len Kaminsky, I believe, in Hopgood still doing Iron Man at this point. So really excited to have this. And it's nice because as you go further up in the numbers, these issues seem to have a little bit better quality. This, you can see this one's really in pretty good condition. It seems like it's been bagged and boarded for a while. I mean, it's still a little yellow on the edge, but you can't see that. But yeah, cool cover, and we'll see. So gotta catalog that, and that will be in my collection as well. So let me just put these here. Next issue I got was Invincible Iron Man, Volume 2, number 10. You can see here Mary Jane's on the cover. And I don't believe we read this issue in, I know back in the fall of 2015, we read Iron Man for like 5 or 6 weeks, I think, up until like issue 6 or 7, and we stopped. So I don't know if we've read this issue, but it was one of them that I didn't have. I think I have issues 1 through 7, and then 10, 11, 12, all up until then. So we'll see how this goes. It's a road to Civil War 2. So not the best stuff, but just an issue that I needed for my collection. So we'll see. I have all this stuff in hardcover, the premier hardcovers. So I'm not in a really huge rush to read it, but it's cool to have it in an issue. This is a thick book too. I wonder if it's. Oh yeah, there's like a preview thing inside. Yeah, for Civil War II. Who will fall? I know who will fall. Marvel for making that stupid event. That's another thing I noticed when I went to the when I was at this store today. There was like at least 60, 70, possibly 100 issues, or 100 copies of Civil War #1 or Civil War II #1, which is pretty crazy because like nobody was buying that, so they just this store got all these surplus, which is kind of funny. The next these are out of order. The next 2 issues I got were gaps that I needed for a mini series that I read before, but I wanted to have the issues because they're really cool. And that is Vision and the Scarlet Witch, the first mini series, Volume 1. This is issue #2, and this is a throwdown between the Wizard and this dude who I'm not really sure what his name is, but he's like some radioactive mutant kind of person, and the Wizard was presumed to be Scarlet Witch's and Quicksilver's dad, but turns out he's not. As we find out later on in issue 4 of this series, Magneto is the father at that point, at least. I know that's changed as of late, but yeah, so cool cover. This is probably in a lot better condition than the other copies I have of #1 and #4. #4 is really yellow. So like really like it's a white cover, so like the yellowing's pretty obvious, but this looks pretty good in terms of quality. So cool to have that. And then I also got issue 3, which completes the series now that I have. So I have all 4 issues of this mini series. Looking back on it, this actually was a pretty cool series. This issue has some stuff with Wonder Man and Vision. Since Wonder Man or Vision was made from Wonder Man's brainwaves and stuff like that. So there's a little bit of discussion about that whole thing. The art was great. The storyline was pretty good. Each issue was kind of separate, had its own separate story, but it was all arcing towards the final issue where Magneto is revealed to be the father of Scarlet Witch and Quicksilver. So that's pretty cool. Yeah. I'm not sure who's doing the cover art on these. I'll have to look that up, but pretty good art. Pretty good, 1980s type of art, I think. I'm not sure if that's 80s, whatever. Next issue I bought was something that I needed for my War Machine collection, and I've actually read this issue in the classic collection, but I got War Machine #8, and this is pretty cool. It's early 90s, so a lot of guns and a lot of violence and a lot of craziness going on, but pretty cool. I'm a big fan of War Machine, and I'm trying to get the rest of his series because other than the classic volume, which I can probably show right here, other than this volume, which collects the first 7 issues, there's no other collections that collect the first volume material. Well, this and Hands of the Mandarin collects a few more issues after this, but other than that, it's kind of hard to find some of the other War Machine stuff. And this is pretty cool, like Rhodey going on doing his own thing is pretty awesome. So I'll put that back. Got that for pretty cheap. I remember last year at PhillyCon, there was like so many vendors selling War Machine Classic for like $5. So that's pretty crazy. Let's see if I can put these in order before I talk about them, because I don't think they are in order. Yeah. Okay. Cool. All right. So I have the first 2 hardcovers of Secret of Avengers, which is written by Brubaker. Yes. So there was actually a store I went to where I bought each volume of Brubaker's Secret Avengers, which there's only 2. I bought 2 of them for $3 each, which was a pretty good deal. So I kind of bought those and I kind of set those aside and never really got back to it. But I was curious, and I was while I was going through these bins today, I was running across a lot of Secret Avengers stuff, and I'm like, I wonder if like all this would like line up perfectly if I bought this. So I started picking out all the Secret Avenger stuff, and then I went through after I found them all, and I was like looking on the wiki to see where these line up, if I had any gaps after buying these and stuff. And surprisingly enough, when I bought all three of these, they all actually lined up perfectly after Brubaker's original run on Secret Avengers. Since he's the first person to have like Secret Avengers Volume 1 starts with Brubaker, and then it transitions into Spencer and stuff like that. So I'll show you what I got. So, I don't know how great these books are, but I'm willing to give it a try. I'm a big fan of Avengers, so I'm willing to see where this goes. But I bought the hardcover for Secret Avengers Fear Itself, and this collects Secret Avengers numbers 12.1 and then number 13 through 15. So this picks up right after the Brubaker run. So that's really convenient. So we'll see how this goes. But it's nice to have the same format, the team looks pretty interesting too. You got Captain America, you got Black Widow, Moon Knight, looks like War Machine, and then Valkyrie in the background, and then Ant-Man. And then you got Beast on the front as well. So we'll see. I was looking on the back to see what they had on the back. So I'm pretty, Spencer's all right. I like his writing sometimes. So we'll see how it goes. But yeah, so this was really cool. Picked that up. Then the next book I picked up, and this is kind of a little screwed up, so I'll show what I'm talking about. But I got Secret Avengers, and then, so it goes Brubaker, Spencer, and then it transitions into Warren Ellis, and a bunch of artists. Holy shit. You got David Aja, Alex Maleev on this, a bunch of other artists. That Stuart Eminem, I think that's his name. But yeah, so the next volume is Secret Avengers, Run the Mission, Don't Get Seen, Save the World. So, and this is, kind of, I guess just, there's no volume number to it because it's Warren Ellis's run. So, but this collects 16 through 21, so it picks up right after the Fear Itself one. But yeah, Michael Lark, Kev Walker, David Aja is a favorite of mine. Alex Maleev worked a lot with Bendis on Daredevil and stuff like that. So we'll see how this goes. Again, just nice to have that continuity and that continuous run, so that I can sit down and do the whole read through perfectly. The next book I got, and the format is a little weird. It's really small, but I got Secret Avengers Volume 1 of Rick Remender's run. So I've heard Rick Remender's a pretty good. Oh wait, no. Yeah, oh yeah, by Rick Remender. Yeah, it was throwing me because the name of the book is Secret Avengers by Rick Remender on the spine, and then it has the artist on the bottom. So that's what kind of threw me. But yeah, so this picks up right after Ellis's short, whatever that was, short stint or whatever. So this collects 21.1, 22 to 25. So really small book, not too big. It was only $5. That's why I picked it up. You can see here, I'm a pretty good fan of some of these team members. Hawkeye, Ant-Man, Black Widow, Captain Britain. I've read a little bit about in Excalibur, so really excited to see what this book's about. And then, after this, there's, I think, 2 more volumes of Rick Remender stuff, and then I guess it transitions into another writer, which I didn't look that far down the wiki yet. But now that I've had, the first 5 hardcovers of this series, I can go on and start looking for other ones, which is cool. We'll see how it goes. I'm excited that I was able to find all these, perfectly in order, and not have to have any gaps, which is more motivating to have now. So yeah, so that was my little Secret Avengers haul, and we'll see. I'm trying to read a lot of the Avengers Volume 1 stuff first, and then jumping into New Avengers, Secret Avengers, Mighty Avengers, that kind of stuff. So we'll see. Just 3 more books now to cover. So this book I found, and I'm pretty surprised I found it. It's Star Wars Darth Maul, Son of Dathomir. And I think from what I've heard, and someone can correct me if I'm wrong, I think this was a book that was originally released by Dark Horse, before before Disney bought Star Wars, and I think that book went out of print. Um, so then when Disney bought Star Wars, I think they reprinted this and put this new logo and all that stuff on here. Um, let me see. I want to see the cover. Yeah, they don't. Maybe it is. Maybe it was a solo series that they did with him. I'm not sure what year this came out. Let's see. It doesn't say. I don't know. First printing was in 2017. I stand corrected. Yeah, this looks like it was a series that was released, post Disney acquiring Star Wars. So this is within the continuity of the Star Wars universe, of the Disney Star Wars universe now. So really excited to read this. You can see here Darth Maul has the Darksaber, the Mandalorian's in the background. So, obviously, spoiler alert for anyone who hasn't seen Solo, a Star Wars story yet. Darth Maul looks like he's going to be having a bigger presence in the Star Wars movies going forward, especially since Kira at the end of Solo appeared to be working for Darth Maul, which is really cool. That was a really cool reveal. And Darth Maul is one of those characters he was just a waste of potential by George Lucas. He should have been the protagonist or the antagonist throughout the trilogy of the prequels, but he got overlooked for Count Dooku instead, which was Christopher Lee was great anyway, but kind of suffered from a bad script. But it's cool that Star Wars is looking at trying to bring Darth Maul back as a major player in the post Republic days, Clone Wars days. So we'll see how this looks. It looks like this is set in the Clone Wars era. So I'm really excited to read this miniseries. $5, and it seems like a pretty recent trade. So that's a pretty good deal, I think. Okay, the next one, and this is something that I saw my friend buy a few months ago, and I jumped on it. I saw it at a bunch of stores. I didn't feel like buying it. I think the one store I have has volume 2, so I might have to go get that now that I have volume 1. But the book I'm talking about is Namor, Visionaries, volume 1 of John Byrne's run. And for anyone who isn't familiar, John Byrne's a legend, not just in Marvel but in DC. I believe he did like a really good Superman run. He's done a bunch of stuff at Marvel. Uncanny X-Men, Iron Man. He has a great Fantastic Four run that I'm looking to get the omnibus for when it gets a reprint in August. But this is cool. Namor. I haven't really read a lot of solo Namor stuff. I'm not sure if Marvel's getting around to making epic collections for his stuff, but in the meantime, I figured I'd pick up this Visionary volume of Namor. And the biggest thing, John Byrne's writing is one thing, but his art is just amazing. I'm trying to see if I can find. I don't know who that is, but I'm excited to find out what the hell's going on there. John Byrne's is legendary for his art and his storytelling. So, yeah, because he does both. So I always appreciate art, people who do that. You got John Byrne, Walter Simonson, Frank Miller. A lot of the greats are able to do both, which I think is remarkable. So excited to read this. For $5 for this thick paperback, can't beat it. And the last book I got, and I'll close this video out. Over the weekend, I've actually read one of the recent Shield series that came out that was based on a TV show, and it was really fun. It was a lot of team up stuff with Coulson and like the team that from the TV show. So that kind of got me to thinking about kind of collecting a lot of more Shield stuff because I'm excited about that kind of stuff. I think it's really cool the way they use like different heroes for each mission that they went on. So and I've heard Hickman was a really good writer, so I picked up his Shield series. And I'm not sure. Like I was looking it up, and I'm not sure if his series. It said that it went. I can't talk. It said that it went for 11 issues, and this collects the first 6 issues of that series. So I didn't see any other collections pop up for this. So I bought this. It's Architects of Forever is the name of this hardcover trade, whatever you want to call it. So I have a few Hickman stuff. I have his whole Secret Warriors run. I know he's done a Fantastic Four run, which I'm going to look into getting the complete collections for. I think they're making some of those. And he also has an Avengers run, which already has, I think, 2 omnibus already. One's already been released, the other one's on the way. So, um, I think I'm still a few years away from, doing a readathon with his stuff, but I do want to do it. I do want to do his like read through because I've heard his stuff is really good. And as of now, with Bendis leaving, Starlin leave. I mean, Starlin's kind of older, but with a lot of writers leaving, Hickman and Jason Aaron are pretty much like the few remaining writers for Marvel that are like kind of have like those legendary runs. Those pretty memorable runs on books. So we'll see how this goes. Big Shield fan, and the thing that's crazy about this hardcover is like it's like really huge. Like I don't know. I was matching it up because like let me see if I can show you. So this is like a regular hardcover. I guess this is an oversized hardcover, but it's weird because like it's really small. So like you can see, usually when they print them this size, they're a lot thicker. But this is like a really thin, oversized hardcover. So we'll see how it goes. But that's pretty much it. A lot of my stuff today was Secret Avengers related. Kind of odds and ends, some other stuff that I was looking at that I heard was good. But yeah, like I said before, paid about $40 for that stuff. So I know some of those Secret Avengers hardcovers were kind of small, so they might not have been the best deal, paying $5 for them. But now I'm set on the path of trying to find the rest of them. So wish me luck in my Secret Avengers collection marathon. But other than that, that's pretty much all I have. Again, like I said, please go check out Tales of Adventure. If you're ever in this area in Pennsylvania, I would highly suggest go checking them out. They're a great place, if you're into cards or comic books or anything like that. Definitely a good place you can go to and get some pretty good deals and stuff. So, but other than that, it's been me, Dan, going over my haul video for Tales of Adventure. As always, have a great week, guys, and I'll see you next week. Bye-bye.